Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to beautiful Lochhaven in the Cairngorms National Park. Stunning weather today. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to be taking a flight in Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra, which is the Scottish Air Ambulance Airbus H145. We've come here to this nice little spot. We thought we'd come and say hello to the campers. They had a brew on. It would be rude not to. So we're going to take a flight from here using the incredible HEMS Random and Anywhere by Daviosoft. It's an incredible free mod that's available for the high performance group H145 and Action Pack that really adds a great deal. And although this video isn't any kind of tutorial and I'm not an expert, this is purely for entertainment. Hopefully you can kind of get an idea from it of what you can actually do. There's Charlie in the back looking for the snacks. Good lad. That's what we like to see. But this video, as always with these videos, is made with huge respect to the guys and girls that actually do this for real. It's an incredible service that they perform and a very tough job. And although there's some humour in this, there is no lack of respect for what they do. Anyway, let's get going. Well, here we are, and what a glorious day in the Cairngorms National Park. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Lochhaven over there. Our happy holiday makers, who'll be even happier once we get out their way and we allow them to get on with things. Charlie has found the Kit Kat, so he's quite happy, and we're just going to get going. So what we're going to do here is just simulate getting a call out for the air ambulance. We'll talk a bit more once we get into the air about some of the things that we've got going on here, but essentially that's what we're going to do. And I should say at this point that we are using the HPG Airbus H145 sound system upgrade, which is available on flightsim.to. I'll pop a link down below. That's by M. Gonzalez, and it just adds some improvements to the sound system. Also, just to say, those chaps over there have arrived with us courtesy of the Aviemore Heliport and Cairngorms Scenery and Mountain Rescue, which is an old file on flightsim.to. Some bits of it don't work, like the Cairngorm helipad base, but other bits do, like that. So I've got it loaded in. It just adds a few bits and pieces. Let me stop waffling. Now, first of all, and I appreciate that for some of the purists this might hurt a little bit, but what I've got to do first of all is get the radio up and running down here. I could start the engines first, but I want to do that second once we get the mission profile set up, because of a couple of things that I want to do with the that are part of the Random and Anywhere pack, which is just absolutely superb. So let's open that. I'm going to pop up to the top. Let's get the battery on. We'll get some lights on just so that everyone knows we're going to start whirring metal around. And I'm just going to do a quick check in case it's changed in any of the updates. See if we can turn this on. We can turn that on. Excellent. So I don't need to turn avionics on at this point. We can do that there. So that's all good. We're letting the radio do its thing there. We're going to come over to Maps and Missions, and we are going to select Random and Anywhere. This is the latest version I've got loaded up. Get that loaded up. Honestly, if you haven't got this and you've got the H145 with the Action Pack expansion, I cannot recommend it enough. I really can't. We're going to be doing single player. I'm just going to bring that back a little bit so we don't have to go too far, because I don't want this video to be too long for you. And we will select single player. And now what we need to do is just telling us here that the dispatch system isn't set up. So we will press call to connect. There we go, connecting to GRP. Have a look over here. Just wait while everything starts talking to each other. There we go. So now we're connected, and now we wait for our dispatch. And at this point, just get a little bit more comfortable in the chair. Grab my mug, wherever the hell I put my mug. Excuse me a moment. Tea's an important thing. It's right over here. Put it well out the way. There we go. I switched off the head tracking there just so it didn't drive you absolutely mad. There we go. One of the things to say about Random and Anywhere is that it does try and simulate timings, so you don't just press a button and all of a sudden you get a shout out. So it might just take a little bit while for that to come through. How you doing, fella? Oh, there we go. So what do we got? An executive airplane performed an emergency landing after engine issues. So we will accept that dispatch.
Cabin preparation. Please wait.
So the lads in the back are doing their thing. We are going to assume that at the start of our flight from Inverness airport, we did a full run through of everything. So we're just going to do a quick start because this is an emergency and we need to get going. We have got some lights on. We've got the battery on. Let's have prime pumps
Preparing
on.
for engine. Starting sequence 1, 2.
Come on then, chap. Get out there. We've got an emergency
Cabin
on.
preparation completed.
Thank you, lads. They've done their bit in the back. And all the time we're
Patient
getting...
location is far away. Ambulance crew on scene may transport patient to the meeting point proposed on tablet.
Oh.
Please confirm if we want to meet midway. Area clear. Ready to start engine 1.
I'm going to proceed to accident site. So we'll start engine 1. The reason why I'm going to the accident site is that the last time we had a proposed meeting the ambulance, I landed at the meeting site and then it took a while for the ambulance to get there. If I was doing this on my own, I would leave it as it is and I'd meet the ambulance because that's what the system has thrown at me. But to save messing about with the video, I thought what we would do is, in terms of, I say messing about, in terms of delaying time, we're going to go straight to the accident
Engine
site.
started successfully. Moving to other engine.
So now we can start the second engine. Just having a look down here, checking that everything's looking good. And one is rising.
All engines started successfully.
Excellent. Thank you, my friend. Right, let's pop up here. We can now get transfer pumps on, prime pumps off. Let's get the avionics on.
Leak checks.
Stand by. We'll get the DC receipt on. Relay VCS to pilots. Pitot heat on. Why not? And I think everything else is okay. We can leave those there. Quick look down here. What have we got? I've still got my door open. Let's close that. We will then get the two autopilots set up. We've got the GTN or TDS GTN XIs here. Not going to be using them today because we're using this system.
All good.
Todd,
Right, he's
system
good to go.
test okay.
Let's get the engines up to flight, and then also, while I remember, because otherwise it's going to drive you and me absolutely bonkers, let's turn off the terrain warning. If we don't inhibit the tours, we're going to spend the whole time hearing someone saying terrain warning and things like that. Okay, that's good to go. Nothing in there. Happy with that. Happy with that. Happy with that. Okay, let's go back to here. Let's get the map. Cabin ready for takeoff. Everyone's happy. You're on board. Let's go. See where the wind is coming from. Check over there. I don't want to take off into wind, obviously, but also don't want to take off into the side of a mountain. So, striking a balance between the obvious thing to do and safety.
VY.
isn't it just beautiful? So we've got a nice day for it. Very lucky with the live weather. Very lucky. I'm just going to contour around here a little bit. Cannot express enough how much fun flying around doing this sort of thing in the H145 is. If you're regular to the channel, you know how I feel about that. I never really used to fly helicopters before this simulator, but it's just such great fun. Really is. And having the random and anywhere mission pack, Andrew put so much work into it. It's updating all the time. He adds different things to it. I had a situation the other day where I needed to run in, and I had to pick up some heli rescue kind of specialists. Right, let's just pop it onto autopilot. I'm just going to change this around a little bit. Yeah, he had to pick up some experts for the particular rescue that we were doing, and it just added an extra layer of somethingness to it, and that's what it does all the time. It'll throw a little thing at you, and you just think, wow. So everything's looking good. So I'm just on autopilot at the moment. I used to hand fly an awful lot, and then people used to say in the comments it's a Airbus H145. You're not meant to hand fly all the time. And real pilots as well have also commented on the same thing. So I'm going to be using the autopilot a little bit more than I have done in the past, just to
500.
Just to give an idea of what it's all about. Let's just zoom the map out, see where we're going. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So we're just south of Elgin. Wonderful, isn't it? I'm guessing that we're going to end up going to Rakemore Hospital, but we'll see, because one of the other things that this will do is sometimes it will chuck a, it'll say, well, you don't need to take the casualty to hospital, the ambulance crew can do it. Essentially what we're doing here is HEMS, which means getting top-notch medical expertise directly to the patient. So we've got a doctor on board who specialises in this kind of work. And maybe that's all it needs, us to get the specialised medical team to the casualty on the ground, and then they can go by, let's just watch that a little bit. Yeah, then they can give the patient what they need, and off we go. Just coming back a little bit on the speed. We've got a little chime there warning us about overpowering a bit, so I've just moved that through. But yeah, it's absolutely superb. You never know what you're going to get, so you can literally
watch out. Reduce collective now.
Okay, coming back on the power.
Watch out. Reduce collective now.
500.
You can spend hours just running different missions, and it will throw different things at you. Really is so cool. So that stretcher point there, I think that is where originally the ambulance pickup point would have been. But as I said, I've got a sneaky feeling that had we done that, it would have taken quite a while for the ambulance to get to us. And for this video, I can talk, but I can't talk in an entertaining way for so long while we wait for the ambulance to turn up. Talking of which, you may have caught on a live stream before where that happened. We did have a situation like that, but as it was a live stream, we were chatting anyway, so it wasn't too bad. Talking of live streams, if you are regular, you probably noticed I haven't been live streaming for a few weeks. I've had a couple of hardware things going on. I also very cleverly lost all my OBS setup preset, you know, all that kind of thing. So I've got to rebuild the whole thing again. And I just haven't had time to yet with other things that are going on. But I will do it. I will do it because it's good fun. And I know that, you know, people on the Discord like to come along as well. Talking of the Discord, I'll put a link down below. We do have a Discord. It used to be called Dreams of Wings. It's not called Dreams of Wings anymore. It's called the Aerodrome. And that's because it is more about a community of virtual flyers rather than a YouTube channel. So we do group flights. People can post screenshots, talk about helicopters, aeroplanes, all that kind of good stuff. Real world aviation as well. Photography, if you're into your aviation photography. And there's even a model making channel now on there for people that like to build the kits. Personally, I don't have the patience, which is my loss, because I would love to have. I'd love to have a nice big, like 1/24 scale model of a Spitfire. I would love that, but I would never build it. I would never get there. Look at the detail in this ground. My God, this simulator's stunning. It really is.
2 nautical miles from loading area.
Okay, so we're not far now. That's good to know. What I'm going to do now is just take it off autopilot. Just get my... There we go. So that's there. Bucked a little bit when we did that. I think that's probably my fault because I've got hands on the controls. There we go. If I take the hands off the controls now, we're not on autopilot anymore, but it's just nicely trimmed out. I do need to reduce the collective a little bit because we started climbing like the clappers there. And let's come down a little bit. Okay, so actually that's not too bad. The distance between the
500
distance between the accident site and the pickup point wouldn't have been too bad actually. They would have just come through Dufftown over there and that would have been it. But anyway, we can get there a little bit quicker in the old H145. God, I love it here. Absolutely beautiful. Great part of the country because we got the mountains just behind us, and then you kind of roll out into this greener farmland, and then of course you got the coast up ahead as well. Everything's looking fine, feels good. The override on the screen there, that's just because I'm using trim release. Whenever I'm hand flying I tend to have the trim release on, and then I'm not fighting the helicopter autopilot system or stability system. Scoot over the top. Info, I'm just over there.
Ambulance with no paramedic. Police. Fire engine. Confirmed on scene.
So there you go, that's another cool thing. Obviously this is an ongoing situation, so you almost got to imagine that whilst we're flying around, things are happening in the scene. So what that's telling us now is what emergency services have arrived. And actually, if I just click on here, you can see we have more information coming in. 29 years, female, an executive airplane performed an emergency landing after engine issues. Waiting information about rescue vehicles presence. Well, we've kind of had that. Symptoms: pain and numb arms. Numb arms, obviously, being a concern. Go to the medical diagnostics page.
Destination for our patient. Info available on tablet.
Okay, there we go.
Or change later.
We'll have a look at that when we get on the ground. Let's concentrate on flying. Be interested to see if it is Rakemore. I hope it is. Just over that away in Inverness. So we can see the orange smoke now. That's the smoke flare for where the patient is.
2 nautical miles from accident area.
Appreciate that might not happen in real life. You can see power lines ahead, so I need to be careful of that. And I just want to, I'm going to close the tablet there now, just so I can get a better idea. Let's see what we've got. So I'm just trying to come back on the speed a little bit, reduce the collective. Okay,
We are approaching the landing zone.
that's a very nice area there. Certainly not going to have any issues finding somewhere to land. So we will come round. I'm going to come around the back of it, and then we can land into wind, just where that fire engine is. That's even, yeah, that's a little airstrip. See the ambulance, see the crashed aeroplane. And I will concentrate on doing the flying thing. As close as we can without blowing everyone away.
We are reasonably close.
Wow, nice touch, Captain.
Thank you, lads. Always nice to be appreciated. Doesn't happen very often. Right, engines to idle.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operation. Helicopter in position. Rear crew, clear to start operation.
Just for the bumps off. Do a complete close down, I think. Sometimes in the past I've left the engines running, but in this case,
We need time for ground operations. Please stand by.
yeah, in this case we will close things down a bit. Hopefully that's kept the radio on. Yeah, we need that radio to be connected still. I am going to leave the battery on. Normally, I appreciate in real life we'd probably be taking the battery completely offline, but because I want to keep that radio connected, what I don't want to do is break the connection between the mod and what's going on. So I'm being a little bit cautious. You can see the citation there is just bouncing a little bit. I think that could be a mesh thing. I'm using the Orbex mesh, so I don't know if that's making it rock around a little bit, but anyway, that's all looking fine. Let's just have a quick look here. I can acknowledge all those warnings. Let's turn those off. Quick look back up at the top, just making sure my electrics are at absolute minimum. Let's turn that light off as well. There we go. Let's go and have a look at what's going on. So here's our casualty, and they've set up a nice little screen. Not seen that before, so that must be something of a new feature. And they will work on him. And like I said before, this is kind of happening in real time, so that's just something we have to wait for. It's actually a great little scene, really, isn't it? When you think this is a free mod, this Random and Anywhere that's generated this. You obviously have to buy the pack, or the High Performance Group H145 and the Action Pack expansion. But this mod that Andrew has put together, he's honestly put so much work into it. Right, so the ambulance crew have gone round now, and what are they doing? So they're putting the stretcher back in the back of the ambulance, which makes me think we might be transporting, and what our fella is doing is he's coming back to our helicopter, and I suspect he is going to come and pick up the stretcher from the helicopter, which means we are going to be doing the flying, which is kind of what we were expecting. There we go, grabbing the stretcher. Well done, chaps. Proud of you. And off he goes. And he's going to take that back over there and pick up the casualty. So, let's see, what other messages have we got down here now? Let's go back to dispatch. Because all the time the doctor will be communicating to us as well. So, patient Jane Doe, fictional, 29 years, female. Dispatch, small plane performed an emergency landing. Diagnosis, status upon medical arrival, unconscious. That's not good. Patient assigned emergency code 1. And as you can see there, 1 means immediate risk of death. So we do have to go very quickly. Do you confirm location Regmore? I certainly do. That's what I was hoping we would go. So this is going to be a case of getting there very quickly. So once we get the patient on board, we can do a startup and we can get moving. One of the things this simulates is the patient's condition deteriorating during travel. There we go. You can see him coming over there now. So it doesn't. It's not enough just to get the patient on board and to fly there. You've got to do it in a timely and safe manner so that the patient's condition doesn't deteriorate to the point where you have a corpse on board. There's no other way of putting it. Sorry there for the gulp of tea if you heard that. That's it. And then what we'll do is, if I just turn that away, there we go. They'll load the patient up on the back.
Patient on board, take care.
Okay. Patients on board. I'm not going to hang around now. Let's get things going. So let's get the lights back on, just so everyone knows we're going to start doing things. Battery's already started.
Cabin secured. Ready to fly.
Let's have
Preparing for engine. Starting sequence
the
1,
prime
2.
pump on. Co-pilot's going to get out now as we start up. We can see that we've already got our hospital point is now coming up on the as the next waypoint. He's going to jump out. We're going to start engine 1 as soon as he's ready.
Area clear. Ready to start engine 1.
There we go. Let's have a look over here. Just keep an eye on everything. Fuel is good. Just having a quick look at the battery there to see how much we'd use, but that's okay.
Engine started successfully. Moving to other engine. Engine clear.
Engine 2 going up.
All engines started successfully.
That's all good. Right, let's get the transfer pumps on, prime pumps off, avionics
Hold
on, standby
Performing
battery,
leak checks.
DC receipt. Okay, mate, you just hurry up. Let's get going. Let's not hang about. Patient on board and all that. Even if it is simulated. Right, that's all good. That's all good. Happy with that. Okay. Have a quick look down here. That's okay. That's telling us what we're quite happy with. Quick look up here again, saying forward fuel pump. Okay. Engines to flight.
Okay, all good.
That's all good there. We're okay here. I left the battery on, so nothing's going to change there. That's all off. Interesting, the forward fuel pump. I have not seen that before. Let's have a quick look. So I've got the transfer pumps on. That's all okay. Anything looking unusual there? No. Happy with that. Happy with that. Happy with that. Okay, so we've still got the forward fuel pump amber on, which I've not seen before, and that's one of the interesting things about this. It's going to throw things at you, but anyway, we've got a category 1 patient on board. I'm not going to hang around. Let's get going. It's an amber and not a red. Where's the wind? Wind is dead ahead. Just come over here a little bit and let's get going.
VTOS. VY.
Some speed. hour is 28 miles. Let's get some good enough altitude to get over this hill. I'm intrigued by that forward fuel pump. I often find that funny little things like that happen during live streams or when I'm making a video, but I can honestly say I've never had that forward fuel pump come up before. So we'll have a look at that. There are some, you do get some failures in the H145 from HPG. So we're going to have a look at that once we're on course, and I'm happy that the autopilot can keep us going where we need to go. Right, let's whack the autopilot in now. I'm just going to put in a... There we are.
Watch out. Reduce collective now. Watch out.
Okay, let's come back on the speed. There we go. Where it's saying reduce collective, it's because I'm asking it to go full beans and also asking it to climb. So if I come back on the speed a little bit, then that will get us out of that problem. Now I need to quickly come over here and let's get the Q&H for Inverness Airport, because that's close enough to where we're going. Close that. Sorry, I'm looking at little nav map. That's where I'm getting my information from. There we go. 1024. Just watching as I change the barometric setting. Our height is obviously... There we go. Right, happy for that for the time being. So, forward fuel pump. Let's have a look. Let me think this through. What have we got? We have got both transfer pumps on. We've got the prime pump off for both. Everything else is good. Did I leave any switches off? I don't think so. Fuel is all on there. That's all looking fine there. Let's have a look at here. We've got nothing going on with the circuit breakers. Okay, so let's come down here. Let's have a quick, or just change the heading a little bit, just for wind. Right, let's have a look here. Failures and maintenance. Anything here? Other failures. There we go. Forward transfer pump failure. So it has it's thrown a failure, which is pretty cool, and it will do that. So you do have to keep an eye on things. I would love to know if, by any stroke of luck, you are a real-world H145 pilot, especially if you're a HEMS pilot. I know that I've been lucky enough to have real-world HEMS pilots watch my videos. If you are, I would love to know, what would you do in that situation? You've picked up a casualty where there is a huge risk to life, and you get an amber come up for forward fuel pump. Would you continue with the flight, or would you sit there and say, right, we're going nowhere? I'd really love to know. Really love to know. So I've kind of switched that off. There we go. I've done what you can't do in the real world, and I've switched that failure off. Oh, how lucky we are in the simulator. And this is a good chance just to... there we go. This is a good chance just to say again, absolute respect to anybody who does this in real life. The pressures that are on you. The crew in the back who are doing the medical work do an incredible job. they haven't got the comfort of being at a hospital with armfuls of consultants all around and equipment and facilities. They're in the field and they've got someone who's dying in front of them, and they've got to do something about it, and everyone is looking at them to do something about it. Then you've got the pilots sitting up front that can't do anything to medically help the casualty, but know that they have got to get to the casualty and get the casualty to hospital as quickly as possible, as safely as possible. So the pressures must be absolutely enormous. So yeah, there's a little bit of humour in these videos, a little bit tongue-in-cheek. At the end of the day, I'm a guy sitting in the spare room of the house flying a simulator on a computer on a desk. But I do have an enormous respect for people that do this in real life, I really do. So, good opportunity to ask, what are you flying at the moment? Especially if it's a helicopter. Always interesting to know what people are doing there. I am mainly flying the H145. I also fly the Cowan Sim MD 500E. I also love flying. I'm just trying to remember how to pronounce it. Taugs Hangers Llama. Wonderful little helicopter, real seat of your pants, enormous fun. Love bombing around in that. And then of course the H145. Also fly the H160. I'm keeping my hand in on that. I'm really looking forward to the H160 action pack. Not sure when that's being released, but that is going to be a huge amount of fun. But I have a lot of affection for this H145. It is wonderful, highly addictive fun doing this kind of stuff. And we're just doing this one mission. I will end the mission when we get to the hospital to keep the video short. But obviously, if this wasn't a video, what we'd be doing now is going on another mission potentially. Perhaps going back to Inverness, landing in Inverness, and then the next thing you get another mission come through. That's how it works, and that's what this Random and Anywhere is brilliant at. It really does throw some different circumstances at you. And also the helicopter, as you saw, we had that fuel pump failure there. I'm really hoping some real world pilots chip in and say what they would have done in that situation, because in my mind, I'm thinking, because of the casualty, do you really turn around with a failure like that and say, no, we're not going flying? I can almost hear people saying, it's a fuel pump, of course you wouldn't. But I actually honestly don't know. The aft fuel pump was working. I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about it. It could well be that a real-world H145 pilot would chip in and say, you absolute idiot, how irresponsible of you to take off with a forward fuel pump. Amber. Failure. I'd love to know. It's all about learning. I am not an expert at this. This is not a tutorial. I think if you know the channel, you know well enough by now that I don't make these videos to show you how to do things. I make these videos because I love doing them, and it's just sharing that kind of love of it. And hopefully for people who don't have the H145 and the action pack things, it kind of gives them an insight into what it's all about. But my God, this isn't meant to be teaching you how to do it, and I will make mistakes. And it is all learning, like real world aviation. We're learning all the time. There's the Murray Firth out there. I really do love flying in this neck of the woods. Right, let's just check on the patient. So we're still code 1. We've got our heart rate, we've got our oxygen saturation, vital signs are failing. We've got a life score of 26. The life score is between 0 and 100. So obviously 26 you can see is pretty low. What are we now? 10, just slightly over 10 nautical miles from Raigmore. So yeah, as I say, we'll land at Raigmore and then we'll end the video there. There's the mountains. How you doing? All good? Excellent. So I'm just going to keep that up there for the time being, just so we can keep an eye on it, see if it changes at all. Because as I say, things can change. I should say also I'm using the UK 2000. UK 2000 Inverness Airport, which I don't think we're really going to get to see. It's just kind of over there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I ran through everything. I think I did. Obviously got Rex Accuseas in advance, which is giving some difference in the trees that you might see from stock. Now that we are, believe it or not, actually looking at something like a summer or start of the summer here in the UK. Everything is lush and green, which is nice to see. Accuseas in advance turned everything a kind of a darker, murkier, brownier colour during the winter, as it should do, and it was lovely to get out of that and into this more greener area, or greener colours. Rather ornate bridge over there. There's Inverness Airport. So, what are we? 5 miles, not long now. Patient condition hasn't changed a huge amount. So let's come out of that screen now. Come back to the map. Let's drop the height a bit again using the autopilot. I've got control set up on my Warbird stick. Sorry, Warthog stick. I've got the Warthog stick on a 15mm extension. Sorry, 15cm extension on a Virpil Warbird base. I'm only saying that because sometimes people ask. So we'll just keep reducing height as we come in. 3 nautical miles. I'm going to take it off autopilot at this point. There we go. Little bit of a buck there as I did that. I think the my physical collective lever was probably quite high, considering we were in a descent. Something I probably should have anticipated. Right, where's the wind? Wind is right on the nose. That's kind of handy. It means potentially we can come in relatively straight on.
2 nautical miles from hospital.
Okay, let's start losing some speed. too steep a rate of descent. Something I trying to avoid, and I always somehow manage to stitch myself up with.
$500.
See the helipad now. Just going to remove the tablet just so I can get a better view, just looking at the wind. So that's nice.
Crew, we are approaching the landing site.
So we can come in really between those buildings and almost go straight in. That's very handy. Just adjusting my position of the seat a little bit. Turbulence. See the hospital crew just waiting for us there. Offside to the pad, get it back again.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operation. Wow,
Hammer down.
nice touch, Captain.
You can come again, mate. Any crew member that compliments the landing is always welcome. So there we go. Let's jump outside. And we'll sit here for a moment, and as the engine goes into idle, things will start to happen. We can see the hospital crew are going to start getting ready, bringing the stretch around. Our chap is going to get the casualty out the back, load him up on the hospital stretcher, play a little game of stretcher swapsies. Oh no, they're going to actually load him straight onto the stretcher. That's cool. How wonderful. And then off he goes. We'll jump back into the cockpit because I'll need to press the button in a second. And what will happen now is our chap will go off to do the paperwork, which is another neat little feature. Again, if we were actually doing this, if I wasn't making a video, if I was sitting here doing this, I would now be probably going and making a cup of tea, because there he goes. He's going to go off now and do the paperwork, do the handover, all that sort of thing. All this detail, all this little detail is simulated. It is so incredibly immersive. And this is all thanks to, well, obviously thanks to HPG for producing the H145 and also doing the action pack, but also Andrew for creating this amazing mod that adds so much detail and immersion into it. Right, well, he's going off to do the paperwork now. If I open the, yeah, sorry about the cough there, very unprofessional of me. We've got a little button there, skip paperwork, so if we didn't want to sit here and do that, we'd press that. But we're going to let him go off, and we're going to leave the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. There's quite a few of these videos on the channel now. There will certainly be more in the future, and as I say, the live streams where we do a few hours of this sort of thing. We'll be coming back very soon once I've got that set up. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're still here at this point and you've enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, etc, etc, and all that waffle. Been great having you on board. See you on the channel again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.